Okay, I think it's about that time, so we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you for joining us for our, I believe this is our third session now in this virtual bootcamp series. My name is Abby Davis, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about how to get creative with your job search. I hope we show you some tips and tricks today that introduce you to some new places to start looking for your job search. Housekeeping, we've covered this in each of those, but just quickly I'll run through these. Please make sure that you mute yourself unless you have a question. You can feel free to unmute yourself and ask a question at any time. This session is going to be recorded, and so we're going to post it onto our Easton Center website. You can submit questions two ways. Throughout the session, you can submit a chat, or again, you can unmute yourself and ask a question, and then I'll give you the opportunity at the end to ask questions again. So let's talk about some of the goals of this workshop. Number one is to talk a little bit about the traditional job search methods. I'm going to spend the least bit amount of time on this area because you probably know most of these traditional search methods. Then we'll transition talking a little bit about some of the unconventional methods, how to leverage your network, and then thinking about the story that you want to tell. For some of us, you know, the positions that we're finding or the job that we're going to be doing right now could look different in a year or two. So what's the story that you want to be able to look back and tell to a recruiter and those around you? And then keeping an open and positive mindset. As we've done with all of our workshops in this series, we've linked it to certain career competencies. And this one is really focusing on networking, communicating, and collaborating. Networking being a real big one when it comes to, you know, identifying that perfect career opportunity, because a lot of times it could be, you know, connections that we make within our network. I love this quote. It says, networking is a lot like nutrition and fitness. We know what to do. The hard part is making it a top priority. So I feel like that is definitely applicable. Networking is harder and easier, you know, depending on if it's something that we like to do, and just depending on what our personal style is, but it needs to be part of our, you know, regular routine is learning how to build that network. I won't go through, we're going to talk about communicating and collaborating throughout this presentation. Communication, obviously, in a number of ways, you know, written communication, verbal communication, nonverbal communication. You're going to use all of those in your job search. And collaborating, we'll talk about how can we collaborate with other people, and more importantly, how can we help lift other people up whenever we're collaborating. So who is hiring? At the kickoff, we showed you the website Candor, and then we're also going to talk about the Muse and LinkedIn. And I have all of these pulled up, so I'm going to go ahead and switch my screen real quick so that you can see these. But one quick note on LinkedIn, we're going to talk about hashtag get hired. I highly recommend that you go ahead and pull out your phone, pull up LinkedIn right now, and put in that hashtag get hired, because it's going to be a essentially a thread where lots of opportunities are being posted. So we'll look at that here in just a second. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. All right. So here you can see the Candor site, and what this is it's an ongoing post or thread of companies that are hiring or they aren't hiring if they're on a hiring freeze. I actually used this earlier today to look up. Let me see if I can find it on here. I was looking up Cerner. Yep. We're going to talk about Cerner here in just a little bit, but they're posted as hiring. And this is a good site to reference if you're thinking about, you know, a certain company that you're interested in. Keep in mind that this is open source. So I could go in here and post whatever I want. I could post that Oklahoma State's on a hiring freeze, which we're not and haven't announced anything like that. But the point being that it's a good resource, but know that this information hasn't been 100% vetted. So that's one good resource. The next one, and I'm going to make sure that my screen sharing is working good. Can someone chime in and let me know if you're seeing the Muse website now? Yes. Perfect. Thank you so much. So this is a great little article that I've linked to in the PowerPoint presentation, but these are 71 companies that want your application right now. And I'll just scroll through some of these. Now, these are all over the US. I mean, these aren't, you know, Facebook, to my knowledge, doesn't have an office here in Oklahoma. But this would be a good place to start if you're thinking about, you know, applying and going outside of the state, possibly to the East Coast or the West Coast. This would be a good place to start because these are companies that are still actively hiring. Next, I'm going to share this Hiring Now. This is a resource on LinkedIn, and it shows a lot of different companies and specifically how many positions they're going to be hiring. So here we can see that Amazon's going to be hiring 175 new workers. CVS Health, 50,000. Walmart, 50,000. We're going to talk about Walmart more here in just a little bit. I thought this was even interesting. Pizza Hut hiring 30,000 permanent employees, which is not typically something that their workforce, normally it would be like part-time employees, but they're looking at permanent employees there. Lowe's, Walgreens, lots of different organizations. PepsiCo, Lockheed Martin is hiring more than 5,000 people to fill open positions. So this is a great place to start. Here we can see Love's, they're going to be hiring 2,000, and their corporate headquarters is in Oklahoma City. So great resource. Go through this and check out some of these companies. The last part for this section that I wanted to show you is I follow that hashtag Get Hired. You also want to follow the hashtag that we just saw over here, which is Hiring Now. But I follow this hashtag, and I was going through it earlier today, and I saw this post. It's talking about Pilot Company, or the Pilot Flying J. I'm sure we've all been to one of those rest stops before. They are going to be hiring for their help desk team. So a help desk specialist, I talked about it in the opening workshop as well. These are people that help employees with their computer technology, whether it's getting them a laptop, getting their Outlook set up, helping them troubleshoot any issues. You do not have to be a computer expert to be a help desk support person. This is an entry-level position. They're going to give you the training that you need. You just need to have a basic understanding of, Microsoft applications and be willing to work in more of a customer service type role. This is a great position to get your foot in the door. Even if you are not MIS, if you're marketing management, that's okay. This is a position that you can certainly do that's entry level and will get you in the door. So I thought that was interesting and just wanted to share that with you. Okay, I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint and hopefully it'll work a little smoother this time. Okay. Let's talk about some traditional job search methods. You should be using Hire OSU grads. You need to be using LinkedIn. In fact, tomorrow we're going to talk more about how you can leverage LinkedIn even further. And Indeed, these are places that we are already expecting that you're going. The point of this workshop is to help elaborate beyond those. Where can you be going? Hire OSU grads, we always want you to start there because when companies are specifically looking for you, OSU students, that's where they're posting their positions. So I always say, start with Hire OSU grads. If you're not finding the opportunities and beyond that, start to expand your scope. Let's look at some unconventional job search methods. One is the Oklahoma Center for Nonprofits. I'm going to talk through these, and then I'll pull up my screen and show you the websites. The Oklahoma Center for Nonprofits, they're going to be a job board for all nonprofits across our state. Now is a great time, especially if you're not able to find that position that you were looking for in a big organization because they're on a hiring freeze. Finding that nonprofit that you're passionate about or a place that you can just help add value and help in a time of need is a great way to launch your career. Okay, Job Match, we'll take a look at this resource as well. This is the state of Oklahoma runs this resource, and you can see postings all across the state. And we also want to show you Say Yes to Dallas. The Dallas Chamber of Commerce does a fantastic job. They manage this website and they post a lot of jobs. So we'll take a look at that here in a second. So I'm going to go ahead and reshare my screen so we get back to our websites. Okay. Let's take a look at this Oklahoma Center for Nonprofits. This link is going to take you directly to their job board. And here you can see postings that they have, again, for nonprofits all over the state of Oklahoma. And this one looks like it's a new posting. So Vista Program Analyst. And if I click on this link, it's going to show me this is a full-time position. If I read through the description, position qualifications, going to be doing some data analysis. Let's see. But it looks like it's an entry-level position. So bachelor's degree, having some experience volunteering or working for a nonprofit. I'm sure you've all done some volunteering at some point throughout your time here at OSU, hopefully. But this is a position. It's in Oklahoma City, or it can be in Tulsa. That would be a great way to give back, start your career, and gain some valuable experience. Next, we'll take a look at the OK Job Match. So I just went to okjobmatch.com, and here I can click on looking for a job. And there's all kinds of filters I can apply. I'll go ahead and click on bachelor's degree. And then if I scroll down, I have the option to select some different industries. Home services, business, general, full-time. I saw one earlier. Oh, it's got a company one too. Okay, so I can go, there's all kinds of filters that I can have on here. I'm just gonna go to Oklahoma City and see what I can find there. And this is gonna pull up all kinds of positions. Account manager, we've got warehouse managers, technical positions. You know, some of these, you're not an RN, but going through this resource is gonna be another great one to provide you more information about the jobs we have here in Oklahoma. And I can't remember how many results this said, but there were quite a few. So 16,000 results across the state. Next, I wanted to quickly show you Say Yes to Dallas. So this is just sayyestodallas.com. I went to their job board. They actually have a link that will take you directly to resources for those who have been displaced due to COVID-19. But I'm going to scroll down and I can see lots of different industries: finance, marketing and communications, healthcare. And if I just click on marketing and communications, this is going to pull up a lot of the positions that are available right now. Here's a communications coordinator position, outside sales representative, sales representative. So lots of different opportunities listed on this, and you can search this website in a number of ways. But if you're interested in the Dallas area, I highly recommend that you go here because there are going to be a lot of local companies are going to be depending on this job board here. So I hope that's a good resource for you. The other thing that we want you to encourage you to do is just plain old research. So if I'm interested in seeing, let's see, biggest employers in Arkansas, you can see that I've searched this recently. So if I want to look at surrounding states, I'm not finding what I need here in Oklahoma, but I'm interested in maybe exploring other areas. I've been in Oklahoma now for 16 years, and I went to Arkansas for the first time last year and went camping and hiking, and I am amazed that I have been wasting 16 years and not going to Arkansas more. If you're an outdoors person, it is a wonderful, wonderful place to go and visit and also have a career. So if we go to largest employers, we can see that Walmart is quickly at the top of the list. So if I go to Walmart careers, I'm just going to Google Walmart careers. Their headquarters is right there in Bentonville, Arkansas. And we have a lot of OSU alumni, and we know that they want to recruit OSU alumni. So if you're interested in Walmart, please reach out, let us know. We can help connect you to some recent grads. But here we can see, you can search jobs, all careers. So I'm just going to search for all careers in Bentonville because I'm going to look at their corporate headquarters. Here I can see corporate technology, all kinds of different options that I can choose. I'm going to go on supply chain and logistics and see what we have here. There's a product coordinator, merchandising operations analyst. They're actually looking for a December 2020 grad, and I bet for the right person, they'd wait until May. Now I'm going to try business operations. And so these are different things. So here's an MBA internship, merchandise and stocking associate. So these are a lot of entry-level positions at Walmart. You're at the corporate headquarters. There's a lot of room for growth there. And again, just a great way to get your foot in the door. So we looked at Arkansas. Let's take a look at Kansas. So I'm going to Google biggest employers. We're going to go Kansas City. So I do this a lot. If I'm ever if I'm planning a trip to Dallas or somewhere and I want to visit with employers, a lot of times I will just do an old-fashioned Google search and see who are the biggest employers in that area that I need to connect with. So here in Kansas City, Cerner. Cerner is a company that's very close to the heart of Oklahoma State University. Neil Patterson, as many of you have heard that name, is an alum and a big supporter of ours. And actually, he passed away last year. but he started Cerner, and they are in healthcare and they are in data with healthcare. So this could be a really good industry to possibly break into right now. I'm going to go ahead and Google Cerner careers and see what they have available. I'm just going to click explore openings. Wow. Okay, so they've got openings all over the place. India is probably a little bit too far than what I wanted to go. So I'm going to go up here, and for my country, I'm going to select United States. For my city, I'm going to go ahead and select, actually, I'll just go to state and put in Kansas. Let's see what we get. This is a really broad search, so it's going to bring me back basically everything that they have in that area. But if I just scroll through here and get an idea, there's a support analyst. There's a couple different positions. Okay, let's see what this is. Support analyst night shift. So this position, I'm going to go to the qualifications first to make sure that I'm qualified for it. Bachelor's degree and 1 year of experience in call center or phone support. So if you've worked in any type of customer service role, and even if you haven't, I still encourage you to submit your resume. But what this position is it's a customer service role, and they have a call center that's monitored 24 hours a day. And they have people for day shift, they have people for night shift. This is a full-time position for a giant organization with lots of room for professional development and growth. This is another great example of how you can take a position like this, go in, work hard, show them how much value you can add to the organization, and you'll have growth opportunities down the road. So 2 companies that are very close to home, might be outside of our state, but not very far, that have tremendous potential and opportunities. I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint. Okay. So we talked about doing just some good old-fashioned research as well. Considering new locations. Again, Arkansas, this is actually what their new home office and corporate headquarters looks like. It's beautiful. They're very much gearing it towards those that are more outdoorsy and want to have, access to trails and trees and water features and all of that. And then again, we talked about Cerner being close to home in Kansas. Let's talk a little bit about leveraging your network. This is a time that we can get creative with our network. And I want you to think about what family connections do you have as you are, catching up with your family over holidays or through Zoom calls, finding out what are they doing? How many of your family members are working more now than they ever have before? And are there ways that you can help out? What about students you've met in student organizations here at Spears? Connections that they may have, or someone that you met on a study abroad trip that you had a really interesting conversation about their uncle who worked at, this company. Maybe you should follow up, and now's the time to have a conversation with them. Or someone that you possibly met through a part-time job as well. Do you have a mentor? We have the Spears mentoring program, which is a fantastic program, but regardless, you should always have a mentor and find someone that you can, connect with and someone that can help guide you, through this search and just overall give you guidance and advice through your professional career. And who do you know now that has an essential job and is working now more than ever? So looking around your network and seeing who are those individuals that are working a lot of hours and their company is doing a lot, they're helping a lot. And is there an opportunity for you to help out as well? We're going to close by talking a little bit about what story do you want to tell? We talked about getting creative and thinking outside the box. At the end of the day, if you can't go to Arkansas or you're not in Dallas, and whatever geographic location you're going to be in after graduation, you can't find the right opportunity or you can't find a opportunity, a professional position. What story do you want to tell in 6 months to a year when you're talking to a recruiter and applying for that professional position that you wanted to get after graduation? You could tell the story of, playing the victim card of, I graduated and it was COVID-19 and there was a downturn and nobody was hiring at all. And so I just, I moved in with my mom and dad until things turned around. That's one story. Or you could have a story of, I tried really hard to find a position in marketing. That's been my dream, but based upon the situation, I couldn't find that professional position. So I looked around and tried to find ways that I could help out during this time where there's a lot of stress in my community. I ended up taking a part-time job, managing inventory at one of our local stores. I tried to, volunteer for nonprofits, whether it's just handing out at your local food bank. We're also going to see COVID testing centers going up all over the place. We've heard reports, here in Oklahoma, they're going to need help, assembling certain testing centers. So what are ways that you can still, be able to add value? No recruiter is going to, hold it against you that you didn't land that marketing position during the COVID, 19 pandemic. But they are going to look, okay, so what did you do? What positive contribution were you able to make? And I love this. We saw this quote at the beginning, but if you want to lift yourself up, be sure to lift someone else up first. And keeping a positive mindset. So let's say in a worst case scenario, you take a position that wouldn't have been your first choice, but you're doing what you can to help out as we're all going through this. Also have a professional mentor. So maybe you are doing a part-time position, you're helping out in the community where you can, and having a professional mentor that can help keep you connected to the finance world or the accounting world or the marketing world or human resources. We have access to a lot of those professionals. So if you just want to get connected to someone, let us know. We're happy to make those connections with you. And it's better to have someone who can help, keep a positive mindset, who can help hold you accountable through this. And we're happy to be that for you. So keeping that positive mindset, don't do this alone. There's no reason to do this alone. We have career coaches that are here for you and want to help support you through this process. So that wraps up this segment on talking about how to get creative with your job search. I want to remind you that tomorrow we're going to be talking about virtual networking and how to become an expert using LinkedIn. And then bringing it back next week, we're going to talk about how to really research a company beyond the website. And then we'll jump into interviewing. So with that, I'll open it up. If you have any questions, feel free to submit those through the chat box, or you can also just unmute your mic and ask them directly to me.